Welcome back, everyone, to a new episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Eric, Whiskey Mutant, and with me for the very first time, but not really, it's my co-host, Swan.
Yeah, we're taking over this week. We're just kicking Perry off.
What is happening here?
He's just gone.
And here is our editor, Perry.
I've been relegated to just the editor. That's so good. That's great. Yeah, thanks for that, buddy.
Yeah, if we could just talk into the mic and you make everything else work, be great.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Well, y'all have a great show, okay?
If this is your first time, I'm going to let you go ahead and take back over now.
Oh, wait. You hit the wrong mic.
Oh, my God.
Now my
He's trying to kick me off.
Now your mic's muted.
Yeah, never mind. Anyway. Hey, everybody, it's Tim Bip.
It is.
Eric's not here. He's over at his own house because he doesn't do scheduling real good.
He really didn't like us trying to kick him off the podcast.
I'm not
just
going anywhere, bitches. No,
I'm
I didn't
not
have
going anywhere.
I didn't think about what was going on today, and I didn't have anybody watch my kids. So they're upstairs, and I'm down here.
Yeah. But Swan's here, though.
He is.
Yeah, I made it. Nice little drive down.
He drove down from Indiana because he had a couple of days off, and we're doing a 3-person podcast for the first time in a while.
3 whole people.
Boy, howdy, things are going to get rowdy.
So much has changed.
So much has changed.
So much has changed.
This is not the same Tim Bip that was
This
here
ain't your
when
mama's
you went.
Tim Bip. This ain't your granddaddy's Tim Bip. This is my Tim Bip.
Anyway, if this is the first time that you're listening to the podcast or watching it over on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you're returning, hope you've been well. Appreciate you coming back. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. And that's it. Follow us on social media. At MyBourbonPod, at Whiskey Mutant, at SwanTBF.
You got it.
Yeah. See, I remember things.
It's been a while.
TBF.
I remember things. TBF, the Bourbon Finder.
The bourbon. Yeah, he's still finding bourbons.
Still. The
In
bourbon
the
that he
back.
found for
He's
me that
always
I'm going to
finding it
talk
in the
about.
back.
Anyway. Hey, do you want to do sips and snacks? We got a sips and snacks this week.
I do.
do
I
it.
wanted to. I left y'all some snacks to sip on and eat. So, this is listener snack from
Yay.
Mr. Bill Robars, a.k.a. Wisconsin
with
Bill. Drinking with Bill. What? He's got another one. Beer Lovers of Wisconsin. He's just all over the place. Reviewing whiskeys, beers, restaurants, nuts. I mean, all sorts of stuff. This is from him, though. It is a Rocky Road Rice Krispie treat from Carrie's Krispies.
It's really good. Oh, man.
Oh, it smells so good.
That is a tasty thing.
Oh,
Were we supposed to drink the whiskey already?
I mean, you can.
Okay.
you can drink it.
That
You
pairing's
can,
phenomenal.
you can pair it however you'd like.
That pairing's phenomenal.
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay. I don't like to brag, but I like to brag.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
This
Here
is
we
good.
go.
This is fucking good. Do a pour over too.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. Oh. That's really good. And that Rice Krispie treat is legit. Oh wow.
Dude, the whiskey on its own is amazing. What? That's got to be some higher age stuff, right? It's oakier than I was ready for.
You'll probably be able to tell me. It doesn't tell me the age on here. This is. Do you want to take any guesses, or you just want me to tell you?
Just go ahead and tell.
If you're part of the Patreon and you've been listening to the pregame and Pours from the Floor, you know it's been been a mood, and this is this goes right along with it. This is sexual chocolates. Ernie's Last of the Mocha Maker's Mark Private Select. So I don't know how old they are.
years old,
7 to
right?
8.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think they're like 7.
Oh no.
This was one of the last picks around that got the mocha staves before they stopped doing them. One of my favorite Maker's Mark Private Selects, no doubt.
I think it might be my favorite one.
I hate to hit on the smooth portion of this, but that's like
Dang smooth.
dangerous for like, what is it, like 108?
110.3.
Oh my god.
They'll get you where you need to go.
Yeah, I would make that bottle disappear.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking for personal experience, it is.
Yeah, I didn't last very long around here. So
You know what
Anyway.
else Bill gave us? Like a year, like 2 years, 5 years ago?
Cowtails?
Cowtails. And I haven't had a cowtail in that long.
I'm kind of scared too.
Let's have a cowtail.
Okay.
Look at these.
Are these going to pull my dentures out?
Probably.
Okay.
Man, you remember do you ever get the ones as a kid that were like 5 foot long? They're like, you just whip somebody with them?
Yeah, they look like the giant Slim Jims almost.
Yeah.
Admittedly, cowtails are not my favorite. So I this is about as big as a cowtail as I've ever really.
Ooh. Bringing back memories.
That's good. Are we pairing this with something?
Well, we can.
What would we pair it with?
What you got sitting around there?
So much.
You pair it,
Off
Swan.
hours?
No, not off hours. That could stay right where it's at. I haven't had this one, but let's try some Bullet.
Bullet?
Bullet single barrel.
I got one over here.
What's the tag say on that?
Bullet bourbon single barrel.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
What about the other side?
That was the back. That was backside. Justin's House of Bourbon, Three Amigos.
Oh, so this is a 12-year-old Brown Foreman product.
Nice.
Oh, I don't think mine is that.
I was gonna say I don't know if you've got one
Well,
of those.
mine's a Whiskey Weekend one. It was not Brown Foreman. I think it was a Four Roses. So.
Same thing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I got plenty of Brown Foreman over here.
Never mind.
Got Jack
I'm not doing.
Daniels.
Oh no! Oh
Well, there goes another computer.
no! I just dropped my cowtail on the floor.
You did that on purpose. You went into this saying, I only want one bite of cowtail. You took one bite and you threw it on the ground.
Yeah, just like I faked being sick on my live stream last
You
week.
did.
I did.
I know the real reason behind all that.
I didn't fake sick.
If you want to know why Perry went off air, I got the scoop.
Give me the scoop.
I don't know.
For Patreon.
So right before he went off air, Lucy called him, and he was like, "Oh, she forgot I was recorded." And then later, like very quickly after that, he got off, and I'm pretty sure she called and said, "You know what? I'm coming home early. You better get that thing ready." And he was like, "Oh crap, I got to get off live." And so he's like, "Oh, my belly hurts. I got to get off here." It was a little. He had to
Keep
get
in
off.
mind that I said my belly hurt before she called me.
Well, you all had been texting before that, and you were already feeling some sort of way, and you're like, "This is going to lead to something." So you had to play it up to get it, make it more convincing. You're
I'm with
sweating,
you, Eric.
see?
Your Honor, I'd like to.
That makes total sense to me. I mean,
And then y'all had a mega pint, and y'all laid in bed for the rest of the night.
Mega pint.
I see no flaws with this. I think you're 100% correct.
Yeah, he's look, it's time the truth came out. I vomited after I got done with that live stream, and then I didn't go to sleep at all that night because I was unable to. That's the truth. Like, that's the real truth. About an hour after I stopped my live stream, I was just laying in bed trying to feel better. I was like, it just hit me. I was like, I gotta throw up right now. And I ran to the toilet and I threw up. and then I didn't sleep the entire night. Like, I don't know why. I don't know, like, what
I was at work
weird...
and you were texting me the whole time.
Because I was concerned.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You really weren't asleep. You were legit like, well, here we go.
Yeah. I was texting Eric trying to figure out what was going on with me, too. Like, what's happening to my body right now?
We had
Because I've never had that
espresso
before. I've never
on pregame. And
yeah, but that was at like 11 a.m.
your body was like, this is not how we do things. This is not 10 minutes.
You're not allowed to have espresso coffee. Anyway, guys, what have you been drinking recently? Swan, you go.
Scotch.
All right, kick him out.
No, actually, I've been just trying a bunch of different spirits just to see what I like. So I've been honestly going through and trying different spirits finished in bourbon barrels to see how much it influences and what I could take away from it that was like familiar and things that were definitely not. So I've had a lot of bourbon barrel finished Scotch, a couple of rums, some tequilas. So far, bourbon and Scotch. That's where it's at. But there is some fun stuff out there.
What is what's one of your favorite ones that you've had? Like, since I'm the anti nothing but rye and bourbon and light whiskey or whatever, which one is the one that you're like, hey, you got to get this thing finished in bourbon. It's good. You'll like it.
Finished in bourbon. There was a release that you can still see floating around from Glenlivet called Glenlivet Nadura. It's a 16-year-old, 107 proof. Finished in bourbon barrel casks, non-chill filtered, so it kind of hits like all the bourbon-y marks of like non-chill filtered, 107, all of that. That one's pretty good. You guys would probably like that one. But as far as like bourbon goes, that's impressed me recently. I was honestly pretty impressed with the Sweetens Cove Tennessee.
We still haven't gotten our bottle of it yet.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys will review that at some point. I have not. I have not been a fan, to use Eric's word. It sucks of the of the upper tier bottlings that they do, because now this is kind of like their lower tier.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not that they were bad. It was just like you look at the price point, and you're like, what I got, and it just doesn't match. You know.
What I think that we've hit the point with celebrity whiskeys where it's not really their product anymore.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because, Sweetens Cove was, in some way, the idea of Peyton Manning.
It gets even worse with other spirits, and I'm sure we're probably getting there with bourbon. But, like, for instance, there's one called Flecha Azul that's tequila.
Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg literally just bought stake in the company.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's Mark Wahlberg's tequila.
No.
And it
like,
was
I don't know about
Casamigos with George Clooney, too. Like,
Exactly.
he doesn't actually do anything to, like, create that product. He's just an owner of it.
Yeah, he's just a part owner. Yeah. It's kind of silly. Some of them are not too bad, but some of them have been pretty rough.
I don't think I was in
it's
the
unfortunate.
right mindset when we tried Tennessee.
You were not. You were not. You were there to party.
The neck pour of it was really good, and then I let it sit in the glass for a while, and I'm like, this is okay. And then I came back to it, and it was pretty good.
When Chad, my daily, goes, well, it was pretty good. I like it. I go, what? He goes, yeah, after like four drinks of it, like I started liking it. I was like, it took you 4 times to like this thing?
Your inclination, though, is to always counter whatever Chad says.
Just oppose Chad as much as you
yeah,
can.
that's your MO. So
I mean, I do the same thing. He's just got that face, you know, like you just.
Are you against him now too? Is this now canon?
Thank you.
Tidbit?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, the hair's like perfectly done. You just gotta
it's got
like
hair.
just yeah. You just
Yeah.
you just gotta pick on him a little bit, you know.
I'm all about it.
Eric, what have you been drinking?
Benchmark.
Just
No.
just regular Benchmark.
No, I had some.
The one bourbon that has always given me a headache immediately. Regular Benchmark.
I had some foolproof Benchmark the other day, which was really good. I'd like finished the bottle I had, and then I bought like another one, and I hadn't opened it for a while, and I went back to it, and I was like, man, this is the perfect thing. Like, I'd had a long day. I didn't really feel like worrying about anything. I just wanted something high proof, and it like.
Yep.
It was perfect. And then I think, out of all the ones I've had, I think the top floor one is my favorite.
I'm with you, man.
A lot of people are saying that.
The top floor is good.
I took it to the movie theater the other day. I put it in my little flask and did my little buy cheap thing to get the glass, and then so I had it while I was watching Buzz Lightyear, and dude, I love that pour. Like, to be 86 proof, it doesn't taste 86 proof, and there's a lot of flavor in it.
Yeah.
I think when we reviewed that, like, I specifically said, stop the podcast. I think this would make the best bourbon and Coke.
Yep.
Just because it's a good mixer, it's good straight, all of it. And we compared it to Jack Daniels, just because that's kind of like if you order something at a bar, that's what you're going to get. And, I mean, it was significantly better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a flavorful pour, especially if it's going to punch through all, like, the caramel and all that in the Coke. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend Top Floor if you're wanting to grab something low proof and cheap.
Yeah. It's weird that is the one that has become, like, the best out of the bunch. Because you've got, like, Baby E.H. Taylor Bottled and Bond in there. You've got you basically got, like, Buffalo Trace single barrels and small batch thrown in there as well. And Stag Junior Junior.
Yep.
With the full proof, but then the one that everybody has been saying basically is the best is the one that has gotten the most exposure to the elements.
I think it's an experiment, to be honest. Like, we're gonna
it has to be.
Yeah, we're gonna have like an E.H. Taylor top floor or something, you know.
Top
a year
Floor
or two.
Survivor.
Top floor survivor, yeah.
Only 48 ounces of this whiskey made it through the
This
seasons.
barrel fell from the top floor, and we were able to save 2 bottles.
Freddie Johnson caught it with it in his hands.
Freddie's fingers.
Freddie's fingers.
E.H. Taylor, Freddie's finger batch. What?
You know, that sounds more like a Booker's release.
You know, it really it really does.
Yeah.
They got some names, man.
Freddie's
We're going to
fingers.
be talking about the newest Booker's batch.
I saw
Here
that
soon.
today too. I thought about it.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't had one in a while.
I haven't either. I have not bought a bottle of Booker's in... It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
I mean, probably a couple of years at this point.
They had the
I
new-
think we were talking about that, right, Eric? Like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, they had the new batch up at Kroger, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I will. And I was like, maybe I'll get a good Kroger price. It's friggin' $90-some at Kroger. I was like,
Yeah.
It's $100, yeah.
crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's unfortunate. I mean...
I would almost rather them take it down to a once-a-year release, put some older stuff in there.
If they keep it at $100, I mean, if that's the case,
Yeah.
then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to give too much of this conversation away, but they have officially moved it down from 4 releases to 3 releases a year.
That's probably a good call. It works pretty well for Heaven Hill.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know.
more than likely, yeah, it's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's... I don't know. Is it really worth paying that much more money for one bottle? Whereas, you know, I mean, essentially, if you had spent that amount of money on 3 bottles, sorry, I don't know the best way to put this, but you're spending the same amount of money that you would have on 4 bottles, but it's 3 bottles, you know, throughout the year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I see what you're
So,
saying.
like, is it really worth that difference? Because you are getting less product.
Yeah, you are. I have no idea, man. The people that really like Booker's, I mean, they're going to buy anything they put out. So I guess they're just looking at like, okay, now this person's spending $400 a year with us instead of.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked Booker's,
Yeah.
you know, up until the past couple of years where it's just gone down in quality, which I think is insane.
I'd rather than just make it an 8-year-ish.
I was getting ready to say,
Yeah.
I'll meet them in the middle if they put out like a 8 to 10-year-old Booker's for one time a year and they charge $200 and some. I'll meet them in the middle instead of paying $400 or $300 for 3 or 4 separate ones. I'll meet you in the middle. You give me a 10-year Booker's at $220 one time a year. I would do that.
I just want a Booker's 33rd, you know, like it's just do that kind of release every year, you know.
Let's just go ahead and talk about this because it's in conversation, and I'll talk about what I've been drinking recently in a minute. But so we'll just kind of go through the press release. Ronnie's batch is the newest release of Booker's.
Good old Ronnie.
The first of
Ronnie.
3 releases
Good
this
old boy
year.
from back home. He never made it out, but Sheila, him and Sheila, they just made it. Like, you got 4 kids, and they're just doing it, representing their hometown.
They went for the double Y. They're doing good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this product is at a minimum 6 years, 11 months, and 22 days. Ronnie's batch is named for longtime Beam employee Ronnie Land, who spent 40 years at the distillery, eventually becoming warehouse manager. In that capacity, he was responsible for keeping inventory of aging barrels, a key part of the bourbon making process, and he knew the quantities and locations by heart per a news release. So, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, he is kind of just that good old boy hometown hero, essentially. I mean, 40 years at Jim Beam is not anything to sniff at.
No, that's awesome.
He also knew exactly where Booker preferred to store his namesake barrels and was trusted to prepare the samples for batch evaluation. Once Ronnie sent Booker a box of small samples to taste. That does sound like a tongue twister, though. And Booker immediately knew they weren't big enough to get a proper sense of the whiskey. Ronnie then went back and prepared samples that were notably bigger, and this became the standard sample size, which 7th generation master distiller Fred Noe and his son, 8th generation Beam family distiller Freddie Noe, still use to this day. Booker always had final sign-off when it came to batches, but he knew he was working with barrels that met his standards when they were under Ronnie's watchful eye, the release said. Ronnie's batch, per Booker's tradition, has been bottled at barrel strength, 124.3 proof. Supplies are limited, and MSRP is $89.99. Couple of things to take away from this. As we've already mentioned, first of 3 releases. So, you know, yes, there were 6 at one point, and then there were 4, and now there's 3. So my question is Jim Beam losing faith in their ability to uphold the quality of Booker's in the way that it was made originally?
I think they're just having trouble keeping up. I mean, think about how much you've seen.
That could be it. That could be it.
I mean, think how much you've seen Bakers on the shelf.
It's all over the place.
I mean, if you go to other states, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
Can't find it. So they might just be trying to get their 4 small batch products just on the shelf somewhere. I mean, I know that one's a single barrel now, but still, just getting their products on the shelf.
Why? I mean, okay, this is once again, I'm not a master distiller or a taster, but even so, don't you think that it would look better on a label if it was 7 years as opposed to 6 years? 11 months?
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, that's another thing too. It is essentially 1 week away from being a 7-year product. 6 years, 11 months, and 22 days.
So
yeah,
it's frustrating.
It is.
freaking weird,
It's
man.
really annoying.
I don't
it's
get
really,
it.
really annoying.
We don't get it, but still at the same time, like, it would look better to me, and like, maybe, I don't know. I know it's not going to change much on anything else, but 7-year Booker's like, oh, cool, it's 7 years this year. But still, 6 years, 11 months, 22 days or whatever. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and 7 years is not uncommon with Booker's either. I mean, for a long time, it basically was about 7 years old up until it looks like 2015, when the last one that was at 7 years old was Center Cut, and that was 7 years, 2 months, 28 days.
Man, they gotta have another like high age Booker's just sitting there, just waiting to be released. They gotta have one.
They have to.
Probably just waiting on the 35th anniversary. To
More
put
than
that out.
likely, yeah.
When's that?
I think 2 years.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
But-
'cause I think the 30th came out in like 2019.
I think we just talked about this too, but yeah, that sounds right. Sorry, anybody who's going, yeah, you just had this exact conversation. But we drink whiskey and we don't always remember the exact things.
And
that
we talk about whiskey, and we may talk about it more than once. Damn it.
Yeah.
Just bring me a
So-
Booker's Rye again.
Yes.
I wonder if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. Mm.
Like, truly, I wonder if we are ever going to see a Booker's Rye again. I hope we do. I genuinely hope we do. But of the same accord, like, I don't think that means that it's going to be as good as the first release.
Oh, you know, that thing, I've only had it at a bar, but that thing is, I can't even put it into words.
That was Chad and Sarah's graduation present to me, was finishing off the rest of their Booker's Rye.
Damn,
I was
good
there
present.
for that.
You were. So you were also there for when I drank too much and had to go upstairs and vomit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he quit that live stream too.
Yep. Anyway.
Oh, that's good.
I will say
That's
so there are a couple of things that I want to point out about this too. For the longest time, we were told that no, the price of Booker's is not going up. And I mean, this is confirmation that it has. I mean, 2 years ago, it was $59.99, $69.99, or whatever it was at MSRP. And now here we are literally stating in the press release, $89.99.
Yeah.
So they can't keep denying that Booker's is not getting more expensive, because it is. They can't get around that fact anymore.
Yeah, I'm less mad about it though, just because at the time I was like, oh, I'm not getting as good of a deal as I used to, and then now I'm looking around on the shelf going, oh my gosh, there's so much over $100 anymore.
I'm not buying
it's
this now anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, we'll review one later today even that's, significantly younger for relatively the same price. Like it's
That's true.
I mean, it's it's hard to look at that and think, oh man, this is an absolute ripoff anymore.
Yeah.
It's only compared to the original price that you're a little upset.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what have you been drinking, Perry?
Oh, what have I been drinking?
Yeah.
I'm in more of a, like, what am I gonna be drinking? Because Swan brought a couple of bottles over for me that I've been waiting on for a little bit. One was a Russell's Pick. I've not had a new Russell's Pick in a really long time.
Warehouse K is a brown sugar bomb. I mean, that's all it is.
I think I have one K over there, and that's...
We're gonna have to make some, like, French toast with brown sugar or something.
Yeah. Did you bring it out here?
No, I didn't. I can go grab it, though.
If you just literally pop the cork off and smell it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I get it.
I'll go get it here in just a second. But the other thing is the ugliest Knob Creek single barrel bottle of all time.
I like that. It's all blacked out.
It's really nice. Yeah. This is from 2011 that Swan just happened to find.
Yeah.
In Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Flexing that bourbon finder right there. Like, come on now.
Yeah. This is also from the year 2011, which was the second year that they were doing Knob Creek single barrel picks.
And it's when they were still doing, like, you picked the X barrel out of the distillery, so that one is barrel 107 to leave out of the program.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, you better be saving me some of that. Don't get too rowdy with it.
Yeah, I'm going to eat. I'm going to drink the whole thing before you get...
I've seen you get happy about a bottle. You come back, there's about 1 ounce left.
Did you still get some?
No.
Oh.
That's not true.
I'm just playing. No, I'm just worried because, like...
No, I'm
going on vacation for a week. Then Perry goes on. It's going to be like 2 weeks before I see him again. I want to try it. But if it's a good thing, like he
yeah, you got to keep me away from it. But what's funny about this though is
way deep. He takes it deep in there.
Okay. What's funny about this though is that the wax around the seal is like so loose.
You can try to open it, because when I opened, I got 2 of these. When I opened the other one, it the cork just separated.
Get the box cutter, Perry.
It stayed sealed.
I don't need the box cutter.
It stayed sealed, but the cork ripped off from itself.
I had to get the box cutter out on the before where we got the Flying Blind last week, because the bottle I had didn't have anything to pull the wax apart with. Oh, he's doing it right here. He's praying. Here he goes. Here he goes. Oh, that's a little too strong, I think. Oh,
too much wax. Maybe I didn't need the box cutter.
Yeah,
I got my knife on hand.
they really wax dip these.
That's like a.
You can't say
that's
what
like
you've been
a
drinking
curb.
recently if you're not gonna drink it.
Yeah, right.
That's like a curb from 2001. All the wax on there, everybody just grinding on it.
What?
Wax on a curb when you're grinding.
I got you.
Oh,
I knew what you meant.
skateboard.
Yeah. You got to wax it up when you're not as good, and you can't do as much. But if you got enough wax on there, you can get a little bit of a grind on there that looks good.
You're already doing significantly better than I did on the first one.
Oh, you made it.
Give it a smell.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty amazing.
I'm gonna give it a drink too.
Nose, palate, finish, price.
This is what we call a virtual cucking right here.
Why don't you come back over tonight before the live stream? I'll pour you some. I'm serious.
I mean, if I could.
Okay, I have to be out to go pick Eden up. I'll pour a sample and I'll bring it by your house.
You don't have to do that, but I'm not going to stop.
I'm going to because you've made me feel guilty.
No,
now.
I'm just playing. I'll have it right out of the bottle next time I'm over. Perry just splooged.
I have no
you.
idea how old this is. I emailed Jim Beam and they didn't get back to me. Apparently, it's like not on their list of priorities.
They're like,
to
actually,
let me know
this
how
is
old
what
this is.
Booker's 12-year was going to be, but we just
But here's the thing. This is Booker no juice.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
this is a very Jim Beam heavy episode already.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
we got our through line here.
It smells like candy.
Yeah,
What kind of candy? You can't just say
you want
candy.
I've had it. You enjoyed that whole bottle, trust me.
All but at least 1 ounce.
Yeah.
What's the candy, though? Tell me the fucking candy. What kind of candy? You can't just leave me hanging.
Like confectionery sugar. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it's like a peanut butter roll-up candy.
I got like the snowballs. To me, it tastes like that. It's got a little bit of that going on.
It reminds me a lot of the Disney World confectionery shops. I'm going to pour some for you so that you can take it into Disney World.
You don't have to do that.
I'm going to. Stop telling me I don't have to. I'm going to. Wow, that is so different.
Yeah.
I've not had Funky Beam at this proof before.
Oh, at the 120?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is funky. I mean, I love that it has the real cork.
Oh, that's
too.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like a actual, like almost like a turkey-esque cork, because I'm saying that because I broke one of them already.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's cool.
All right.
So that's what you've been drinking lately.
That's what I've been drinking recently.
Just now.
Just now. It was also National Bourbon Day this week.
Oh, it
So,
was. It was.
I had some more curly, which Swan just tried for the first time too today.
It's good. I get your guys' obsession with it.
Where do you think it's
It
from?
is an obsession.
I just have to ask everybody who tries it for the first time.
I don't know. I mean, I would have to guess Barton,
It's not.
Just at the
there's
proof.
no way that it's Barton.
but it doesn't taste like it.
No.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
If it's Barton, it's the most unique, different Barton barrels
It's
anybody
the best
ever got.
Barton I've ever had.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I guess a lot of theirs are foolproof products. I mean, you're looking at minimum 125 proof, and that's what, 122?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got no clue.
I
Definitely not turkey.
don't know.
Maybe might be Beam. Going back to Jim Beam.
I mean that is something that we've kind of looked at a lot recently too. It being
The mystery
Jim
of
Beam.
it is what's
Right.
fun, but I swear to God, it reminds me of 120 proof Russells, the ones I've
I
had.
know. I have to agree. So, all right, we got to start out with some sad news for people who are not in Kentucky. It has been confirmed that Evan Williams Single Barrel is now a Kentucky-only product.
I'm sure
Darn.
they'll have something that it'll be just as good that they'll say, you know what? Not in Kentucky.
You know,
Honestly, the 1783 is fantastic. I'm not too mad, but I'm still mad.
I mean, but I'm okay with us having a new Kentucky-only product. I mean, we haven't had one from Heaven Hill in a couple of years because it all just keeps going away.
Yeah. They just now gave us the bottled and bond. Now people around here are starting to get the bottled and bond.
Exactly.
Just now.
Like that's ridiculous that we just now got it. But
yeah, it's fair because we pretty much just had the Elijah Craig grenades, but that's it.
yeah, but even then, if you go to the distillery, there's no guarantee that they're gonna have it.
Nope. Didn't see any last time I was there. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. I mean, it's good for them, I guess. High demand, but I want that beer finish one back that they did.
Oh man, I've still got a little bit of that left, and that was good stuff. Mm-hmm. So Whiskey Advocate actually brings a little bit of information about the single barrels that I did not know initially. It says originally it was a 9-year-old, but the age was lowered to 7 to 8 a few years ago. But it has maintained its 86.6 proof point over the years. I didn't realize that, and they're just comparing it to other single barrel products. Blanton's in 1995 was $40 a bottle.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And when this was introduced, it was half as expensive. So $20 for another single barrel at 9 years old. Saying that out loud is so insane.
I want a time machine so bad and just go back and just stock up on stuff.
I know that people love this product. I know that, gosh, it's $27 still at MSRP. I know that this is going to hurt some folks, but honestly, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, it sucks. You're going to have to come visit Kentucky. What a terrible thing.
Shit. I got to go to Kentucky and get all the other stuff that I take home with me. I got to see my friends in Kentucky. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's how my daughter says, oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh,
no. We talked about this not too long ago, but Angel's Envy has announced an expansion of their brand. And their first... Okay, hold on. I got to read this headline out loud. Angel's Envy unveils $8.2 million brand home expansion and first virtual distillery in Decentraland.
What?
Should have just made an NFT. What are you guys doing?
We're distilling NFTs right now as we speak.
Nah, that's odd.
With the launch of Angel's Envy's Meta Distillery, the super premium bourbon brand becomes the first in the Bacardi portfolio of brands to create a brand home in the metaverse. Users, aged 21 up, are taking on a series of gamified experiences such as a mash bill challenge, cask personalizations in the barreling room, and an ingredient quest to create cocktails.
Ingredient quest!
In addition, users have the opportunity to plant virtual white oak trees around the distillery, correlating to trees planted in real life through their Toast the Trees initiative. What?
Okay, listen, we're all nerds here. We all love video games.
No, this is not being nerdy.
This is ridiculous.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We are excited to welcome the first distillery in Decentraland with the Angel's Envy. Decentraland is so stupid sounding too. With the Angel's Envy Meta Distillery, said Adam Dakota, head of partnerships for Decentraland Foundation. As we have seen over the past several months is how that's supposed to be said. People want to engage in the metaverse with activities and goods that they can relate to from this reality. Oh my gosh.
Is it VR compatible?
This reality. The Angel's Envy Meta Distillery creates a new way for people to engage and celebrate in the metaverse. I'm sorry. This is the Google AI robot that's now sentient, like a step too far, I feel.
Do you remember when in The Office, Dunder Mifflin ended up making a website and then it got taken over?
Uh-huh.
I feel like this is going to happen. This feels like somebody I want to be there for the pitch meeting on this. Could you imagine?
No.
It's like The Sims, but bourbon. Like, I mean, It's a little odd.
I don't like this.
You go to the distillery, they're like, yeah, we got a new release, and they hand you a hard drive, like a little thumb drive. They're like,
You've got to
"Here you go."
download it.
Yeah.
You've got to download it from
Just scan this app, and you can get it
the
on your
metaverse.
Here's our newest release. Here's a QR code for
Listen,
it.
I want bourbon and whiskey to drink while I'm doing video games and movies. And
Yeah, I don't want fake bourbon.
I don't want to have it on my phone and just be like, yeah, I'm watching the
You know
virtual
what
distillery.
this screams? What this screams is that it's going to wind up becoming like a big microtransaction thing as well, where you're buying tokens so that you can speed up aging and you can get your bourbon quicker.
A finish. You're like, oh, I'm going to buy
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Buy
Exactly.
that chocolate
Like-
finish or something.
I'm just trying to think of like who the audience would be for this. Like
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, part of it does feel like they are planning for the future of bourbon drinkers, but there's nobody in the bourbon drinking sphere, aside from those who are spending exorbitant amounts of money on bottles, who could potentially be asking for something like this.
All the kids of the bourbon drinkers who the kids are like, bourbon's my
But see,
kid."
that's the thing is like you're not only banking on people being excited about this new venture that hasn't even really started yet. You're also just the level of investment that you're putting into something like this is absurd. That is way too much time and thought put into something that definitely will not work. It's not going to work, right? Am I crazy?
In my head, I can't make it work. But I'm just curious. Like,
Somebody's going to like it.
so if I'm a Scotch fan and I don't have the money to go to Scotland, or if I'm a rum fan, just I want to go to one of the obscure islands. My only way to see it is virtually, but
make that a virtual experience. Like, do a
yeah.
VR thing
of
with
the
it,
actual distillery, not a virtual
Yes.
distillery.
as opposed to essentially creating a virtual world.
yeah, I mean, I feel like even a well-curated YouTube video would kind of satisfy that need. I don't think
That's what a lot of distilleries were doing when the pandemic hit. Like, they
Yeah.
were creating virtual tours for people.
Yeah. And I mean, I could even see them maybe doing like I'm going to send you the grains we use, like a small sample, so you can get the smell of what you would probably get out of some of these things. Maybe send you a piece of the barrel that they've cut up, and some sort of like tie-in
Yeah.
to a virtual experience.
Yeah,
But
a virtual tour with some samples and like you were saying, like little pieces of wood, like a whole experience.
yeah, like it's obviously I can't get in my house to go do this, but I'd still like to experience. That makes sense. A whole like made universe around whiskey. It's a little
too
hard
much.
for me to wrap my head
Yeah.
around. Who knows? It might take off. We might be the weird ones out of the bunch,
Well,
but I just don't see it happening.
I think
Fucking
the reason that
boomers.
it is, the reason that it is so weird to us is that bourbon is a very, it's a very tactile experience, right? It's something that you can purchase and it sits in front of you and you experience it by smelling it and tasting it and like that just is not possible with the way that they are talking about this new Decentraland nonsense that or whatever they're doing. It just does it's not actually participating in the act of drinking or celebrating bourbon. It's like the most convoluted way of getting around it while still trying to make people feel like they have some kind of stake or some kind of like involvement with the bourbon making process.
Yeah, I mean, the only plus side I'll give it is they're not coming up with some crazy brand story of like
Yeah.
back in the 1800s, this, that, and the other. They're like, okay, we don't have this crazy backstory. We don't have some, we're not the
It's true,
first
though,
to
yeah.
invent some random crap, so we're going to do something futuristic. It may not work, but at the same time, they're not just kind of curating some weird backstory. They're just looking like, what can we include into bourbon culture? What can we be the first of? Again, I don't really see it working though.
Back
don't
in
either.
1985, Grandpa Envy had a Nintendo cartridge
Grandpa Envy.
that he converted into a virtual distillery, and
Angel S. Envy.
we found the original cartridge, and we gave it a good blow, and then it worked. And
Wait,
now,
what year did you say?
85.
Oh, okay. You
when
said
the
like
NES
1895 or something.
No, when the NES came out. And now we've brought it to modern digital social media. Welcome
So
to
it's
the
a ROM.
Envyverse.
It's a ROM ripped from an
Yeah.
old.
That's the original recipe of this experience, of this virtual distillery.
It's giving me a headache. Like I can't think about this too much longer. So let's please move on. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey is launching a new ready-to-drink cocktail.
Oh, the Coke
With
Zero.
Coca-Cola.
one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They even did a Coke Zero version, which I greatly appreciate.
that's awesome. I'm gonna drink the heck out of this.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
I see this being like a beach drink. I see this being
day drink.
sitting by the pool all day. Yeah, just
At my kid's baseball game, you didn't hear me say that.
we won't tell anybody. I think that this is probably the best option that people have for ready to drink cocktails right now. Even though it is kind of like the simplest way of doing it.
It's
That's fair.
What's the one that we had recently? The cherry cola,
Bourbanola.
Like that's a great
Bourbanola.
one too. Like,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think cola or soda, or I mean, if you say soda, but pop and bourbon is that's the best way to go for me. Like that's my ready to go
Yeah.
cocktail.
Yeah. I mean, Cardinal Spirits is making some good ones too, but there's still
I've not tried it yet.
There's like a bourbon honey lemonade and a couple of others.
Yeah.
But they're still working on getting everywhere. Jack Daniel's is going to be able to put it in 50 states pretty quick.
Yeah. I think by the time that this actually comes out, we're going to have to do some kind of like episode comparing the different cola cocktails.
We need to get Lil and Chris to send us some of the wild turkey ones, because aren't those like only like Australia or at least only like out of state or something like that? Because I want to try those too.
We're over here complaining about Heaven Hill not sending it to Kentucky. What's up, Wild Turkey?
Yeah, Wild Turkey.
What's
You got
going
some
on, Wild
friggin'
Turkey?
Get it? What's
Wild
up,
Turkey.
Wild Turkey?
Freaking
Get it together,
Perry
Wild Turkey.
Russell.
Some
Where you
non-chill
at?
filtered stuff. Send that here.
Yeah, it's all Perry Russell for sure. Anyway, I'm excited about that. That's going to be fun. Let's talk about some releases before we get to TTB labels. Russell's Reserve 13-year-old's back! It's back! It's back, it's back, it's back.
Guess who's back?
114.8 proof, $100 a bottle, which is up from what it was last year. I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine by me. The whiskey is non-chill filtered, aged for 13 years and bottled to barrel proof. I can't
have
wait
to reach out to my bourbon finder again. Since that's how I got the last one. What?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
If it falls into my lap, it's all yours, man.
There we go. I think I know somebody else who might be able to help us. Anyway, Woodford Reserve Toasted Oak Oat Grain.
That's one of the 375s, right?
Yep, $60 a bottle. Anybody want to guess proof?
90.4.
90.4. It's standard for Woodford Reserve.
I'm shocked.
Who'd have thunk it?
You say it was oats? Toasted oats?
Yeah, Toasted Oak Oat Grain. This limited release bourbon starts as Woodford Reserve Oat Grain Bourbon, which is then finished in a heavily toasted barrel. Okay, so it's... Okay. Whatever.
Toasted oats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank August Small Batch.
Frank August.
It's a Kentucky bourbon, 100 proof, $70 a bottle. Available in Arizona, California, Florida, Kentucky, Nevada, New York, Washington, and D.C. Frank August is a newly launched whiskey, and its inaugural bottling is this small batch of no more than 15 barrels of high rye bourbon that was distilled, aged plus... That was a weird sentence. Aged 4+ years and bottled in Kentucky at an undisclosed distillery. Because of a non-disclosure agreement, Frank August cannot identify the source of the bourbon.
Okay.
So we'll see what's going on there.
Oh, Frank.
Rye 3? How do you say this brand name?
I think it's just rye.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's weird. 14-year cask strength single barrel. It's a light whiskey at 14 years old. Different ABVs, $80 a bottle, 6,000 bottles in Alabama, California, Connecticut, Georgia, Massachusetts, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
Oh, thanks.
Kentucky, I see how it is.
But it's their rye. It's the brand rye, but it's a light whiskey.
Yep.
And
I don't see the problem.
Is it? No, I don't. But it's finished. Is it finished in anything?
No, it's just from Virginia Beach-based Phenomenal Spirits. This whiskey was made from 99% corn and 1% malted barley and aged in bourbon barrels.
Aged in bourbon barrels. Okay, because their rye is finished in rum barrels. I believe so. So I was curious if it was like rum or something like that. But not in Kentucky, so I'm just playing.
Anyway, TTB labels.
Label me.
Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series. Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey finished in infrared toasted cherry oak barrels.
Laser beams.
all that stuff, and that's what he took away.
Laser beams.
Laser beams. We got it.
Laser beams.
Oh, lasers.
Yeah. Freaking lasers.
Freaking laser beams. Lasers.
We need to move on. We're bad Dr. Evil. 96 proof, 6-year rye, 95% rye, 5% malted barley from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Continuing on with the Origin series. I'm really, really excited about this.
I hope they do a barrel proof of that, though.
I'm sure they
I
will.
would love a 6-year Bardstown Bourbon Company rye barrel proof.
Here's a weird one. Town Branch Bourbon. 80 proof. The Derek Ramsey Select Edition. Derek Ramsey was a UK quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we've all been asking for.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're finally doing it.
I mean, I would have preferred a Tim Couch one, but okay.
How about a Rick Pitino one?
That's not, didn't New Riff do? I'm sorry, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to bring that one up.
Yeah. Collier's. What is this? Bottled exclusively by Corsair Distillery, Collier's Nashville, Tennessee rye whiskey. Pot distilled from malted rye and chocolate rye. It's got the Nashville skyline on it. 85 proof. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah.
Corsair is usually pretty good.
Yeah. This is something we probably should have talked about in news, but I think that it's not quite gotten that far enough to where it's okay. It's, it's still viable for us to talk about it in the TTB labels. Kings County Distillery and their Irish-style American whiskey.
Yep.
You are a big fan of Kings County.
I'm a huge fan of them, yeah.
Where do you fall with this?
I mean, it's probably... I see both sides of it. So, assuming the customer can read is a hard thing. I know that sounds that sounds rough. That sounds like I'm putting a lot of blame.
Aren't you there to read for them though?
I shouldn't have to be. That's the problem. But assuming people can read the labels is rough. However, I mean, if you're not an informed customer, you're just not an informed customer. The fact that you didn't want to read something doesn't mean they should have to change their entire label.
Yeah,
that's pretty sad. And they wrote that in much nicer words back to who was it, to the TTB, or was it
no,
somebody that filed a
because the
complaint?
TTB approved it.
Yeah, somebody filed a complaint basically saying that it was misleading, right?
Why the Irish Whiskey Association, so the IWA, is beefing with a Brooklyn distillery. Yeah. Dear Irish Whiskey Association will answer for a lot, but accusing us of misleading consumers is fighting words around here. You want to pick a fight? We return the effort. See attached for our correspondence with your overzealous attorneys, which we thought should be public.
Damn.
Wow.
Fighting words, baby.
I mean, honestly, good for them, because there's I think 3 or 4 main rules for Irish whiskey, and they didn't break any of them.
No, and I mean, it's Irish style.
Yeah.
American whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's that to me is not as misleading as the IWA is making it sound.
Yeah, well, think how common that is specifically in beer. How many people are going to say this is a blank style stout, this is a this style whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, they use that all the time with no problem.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the beer customers can't read any better than the whiskey customers. So it's not like it's been a problem over there. I don't understand why it's a problem for whiskey.
I mean, if the Irish Whiskey Society is going to pick a fight, they should just go fight Conor McGregor or something over that Irish whiskey, because that shit sucks, dude.
Yeah.
You're saying more over quality than
Yeah.
the way that they. Yeah. Anyway, I think that this is a weird thing that Kings County decided to make public, but at the same time, like, it's good to know that, like, this kind of thing is going on internally, because like, we know that there are issues within the whiskey industry as it stands, the bourbon industry as it stands, but still it's like,
Yeah, and there's things with the
weird.
TTB as well. You're just like, and you approved that? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen often, but you do see a couple
it happens
that are
more
a
than you
lot.
think it does, though.
Yeah, like I think my favorite one to look at is the Pritchard's Double Chocolate. It's literally it's like a double chocolate bourbon. It can't be bourbon at that point, but they've kind of been grandfathered in with that title.
Yeah.
But it's just odd. I don't know how. I don't know why Kings County wanted to make it public, but for my own enjoyment, I'm here for it.
Oh no, it's fun to watch.
It's
I mean,
hilarious.
it's like watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck you can't look away from. Anyway, it's gonna be 375 mils, 90 proof.
All that fuss and we're not even getting it in a fifth.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what else we got. A bunch this week. Monk's Road, small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 94 proof from the Log Still Distillery. This is the brand that it's weeded and 4 years old. Interesting. This is the Dant family's distillery. So, unfortunately, they can't use the Dant name. Hidden Barn Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's a single barrel. This is a Neely family release. The Hidden Barns of Kentucky painted black. Yada 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 yada. Oh, they're acting on how people were trying to hide the fact that they were making whiskey on their farms. Interesting. Looks like it's going to be a single barrel. Barrel and Banter 5-year barrel strength rye from Texas.
Barrel and
Wait,
Banter. That sounds like a
they getting it?
podcast.
From
I know.
somewhere else, 5 years in Texas would be a lot.
I know. I don't know. Maybe they put it in an ice bath every couple months
Oh
just
my
to
God.
cool it down.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I don't even know.
I
Is
think
there anything
TTB
that
is
looks
just kind of
good?
exploding. Anything you're personally interested in picking up?
Citrus Distillers Jaguars whiskey.
So no.
Oh, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the
Yeah.
football team.
93 proof. That's it. That's about all the information we have.
Nice.
What is this? Woodwork Distillery A. Atschuler and Co. 15-year Kentucky straight bourbon with new French oak. New American white oak and new giant French oak?
Giant?
Non-chill filtered, 100.9 proof. This Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey was aged 15 years in new American oak before being finished in a new French oak cask. For this rarest release, we reserved the most favorable location in our rickhouse to carry out the secondary aging. Distilled in Kentucky, bottled by Woodwork Distillery in Louisville. I've got no clue what that is. It looks like it's written on an old, like, parchment scroll. They've got more than just the one, too. Oh, my gosh.
Oh my God.
What is this? They got a 16-year-old finished in Mizunara?
What is this? Angel's Envy?
I don't know. The only thing that's weird about that is, like, I just can't imagine how bad your 15-year-old juice that you got from Beam, Heaven Hill, any of that you'd be like, oh, this is not good. Put it in another barrel. Like, I mean, Everyone was mad
just leave it.
successful just putting it on a nice label and a decent bottle.
But what's
putting it
weird
out.
about like if it is sourced, and it definitely is sourced,
Yeah.
why go to the effort of saying in our rick houses?
Well, no, so they said the secondary aging was taken in there. So it sounds like they have a rick house and they were just taking the 15-year-old barrels they bought, dumping them into another barrel, and then aging it in their warehouse, which is still fine.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. I misread it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird stuff.
Yeah.
They've got a 10-year-old bourbon as well. Just a 10-year-old bourbon.
But could you, I mean, just think about this, the whiskey drummer. Could you imagine grabbing that bottle and going, this needs to go into French oak. It's not cutting it.
It's not as good as it could be.
Yeah.
Here I am, an expert.
Yeah, I struggle with that. And who knows? It might have been that somebody really thought that was going to impact the profile, but just outside looking in, you're just like, how do you get 15-year-old bourbon and think, this is not going to cut the mustard? I got to do something.
Clearly, I'm more experienced. Swan, do you know who John Higgins is?
No, I think that's a mystery, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah.
Old Foe bottling?
Yeah, the Old Forester 1984 John Higgins Legacy.
Oh, I saw that.
100 proof. Every now and then a barrel comes along that is in its pure form a quintessential example of Old Forester, a precious unicorn that is balanced yet robust and classic all the same. This whiskey is as unique as the man for which it was selected, a father, husband, and son who carried on a rich family legacy and left his own lasting impact on the next generation of Brown Foreman. Who's John Higgins? Who is this guy?
I mean, if it came out this week and you was kind of like a lead up for Father's Day, like that story behind it, maybe.
Yeah.
But if it comes out after Father's Day, you're just like, who's John Higgins?
What is this?
Who cares about John Higgins?
Who him?
I don't know. It could have been like
Who
a
am
long-term
him?
employee of the distillery or something.
Who is him?
Who is him?
Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea New York edition. Straight bourbon whiskey, cut to proof with world famous New York water.
New York water, baby.
The stinkiest water of all
Cowabunga,
time.
dudes.
98 proof. Looks like there's going to be multiple batches.
There's people
in
that brag
barrels.
about the water source on the back of their bottle
No,
a lot.
don't do that. Don't do that, New York.
I mean, my favorite one was the J. Riddle peated.
Oh, yeah.
And on the back it said, cut with the finest water from Detroit, Michigan.
Damn. No, baby, no.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Could you imagine?
baby,
Just,
no.
it's like
Flint, Michigan, Kentucky, Michigan straight bourbon whiskey.
No, baby.
yeah, it's not even peated. That's just the water.
That's just the natural flavors.
That's just the stank.
It's all the band-aids.
Swan, this one's probably close to your heart. Wolcott, Kentucky-made bourbon.
Yeah, so it's a Total Wine brand, but they're starting to announce on the front of majority of the Total Wine bottlings that fit this that it is directly from 1792.
Yep.
So that's kind of a big change.
90 proof. And that's about all we got.
Yep.
So it's basically just a move towards showing where it's coming from.
Yeah, they're just looking for clarity because I guess they've started to realize that that's a really informed customer base, and they're going to be curious on where it's coming from.
Do you think part of that comes from the newer partnership with Fred Minnick? That he's taking a little bit more of a stake in trying to...
This was actually changed before Fred Minnick. This is the second Wolcott bottling that's come out that said 1792 on it. And they've done that for a lot of their products. And they've even put one out, which I think is crazy. I don't know why they decided to put it on the front, but it's a 1792 port barrel finish.
Interesting.
It's a Total Wine product.
Yeah.
Which is impressive that they were able to pull that off, because I figured that was like a no-go after they've already done a 1792 port barrel finish.
Yeah. I don't know. Moving on. Cliff Falls, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Small batch. 90 proof. 4 years old. A time-honored premium heritage Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey made naturally without roots growing... roots growing as far back as 1885. Says, as nature would have it, this Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey has the true, bold, uncompromised spirit of Kentucky in every sip. High rye mash bill, locally grown Kentucky corn, pure Kentucky water.
Pure.
Whatever.
Pure.
Town Branch has a malt whiskey coming out, unfiltered and barrel proof.
Yes.
Sweet cereal nose with notes of molasses, vanilla, brown sugar, and nutmeg. I am all over this. It's over 10 years old.
Oh, damn.
I will be getting that one.
Finished in a, I love this phrasing, fresh town branch barrel bourbon, or bourbon, fresh town branch bourbon barrel.
Did you know I bought a case of the 11-year sherry malt? That they
I think I did know that, yeah.
Bought a full case of it.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
So this is 11 years old, it looks like.
Yep.
54.5. So what is that? 10?
109.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. Math is still hard.
Math.
And the newest Bardstown Bourbon Company Fusion Series. 96.8 proof. 48% Bardstown Bourbon Company. Wow. 4-year-old bourbon. 75% corn. 21% rye. 4% malted barley. 22% Bardstown Bourbon Company. 4 years old. 60 corn. 26 rye. 10 wheat. 4 malted barley. And 30% a Kentucky 12-year bourbon. Let's see if we can figure this one out together. 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley.
Don't have any facial hair. Just grabbing where it would be.
Turkey. That's it. That's it for TTB labels this week.
Cool.
But we got a review. We got a double review.
Oh, we got a double header over here. I'm going to go ahead and pour them real quick.
So we've got both of the new Hardin's Creek Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskeys from the Jim Beam Distillery. James B. Beam, maybe instead. The first one is the Colonel James B. Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 108 proof, with an MSRP at $80. This is a 2-year-old bourbon.
2 years old. $80.
Now, here's the thing. It doesn't smell like it's 2 years old.
It doesn't. It does not smell 2 years old. It doesn't smell super old, but it doesn't smell.
But it doesn't smell super
2 years
young
old.
either.
Yeah.
It's kind of harsh on the nose.
It's very alcohol forward. Like it even though it doesn't smell like that young, like corny grain forward. It smells like just something like just.
You're both right,
yeah.
for sure. I say that like you had opposing viewpoints, but you basically said the same thing.
I mean, yeah, it's just like all ethanol. Like, I mean,
I don't know. I get a little bit of sweetness on the nose. I think that it's a little bit more. I'm not trying to like apologize for it or anything, but I do think that it's got something a little bit more. I think the alcohol is definitely the most present note on the nose, but I think that it still has something to be said about, just it having some fairly general bourbon qualities.
but it reminds me
well.
kind of like if it's only 2 years old, I guess it's not. Obviously not been in a barrel too long, but like a light whiskey, like how like
Kinda,
or
yeah.
one of those high
Yeah, sure.
proofs that like it's just proof and like some corn or something like that.
I'm getting a little bit of like pecan on the nose. Is it pecan or cashew? I think it's cashew on the nose.
Yeah,
It's nutty. I mean, it's got that Jim Beam nuttiness.
well,
You don't like it?
I don't like the finish. Like, I was okay till the finish. It's kind of sour to me, but at first I was like, okay, like this is a decent pour, but like that finish got me a little bit. I don't know.
What say you?
I want to go last. I have a strong opinion about this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I genuinely enjoy this. I like this. This is now my third time tasting it, and I think each time I have enjoyed it more. The first time was just kind of me getting acclimated to what this product was, getting past the fact that it was 2 years old. But I like where this is coming from. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I do think that it showcases why Jim Beam is still a very popular brand. because they can make whiskey at 2 years old taste older than that. I mean, that's my take. That's where I'm coming from.
It's like hot. It's like hot candy corn.
Kinda, yeah.
Like very alcohol forward candy corn.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. I can see where you're coming from with that. I really like the packaging on it too. I think the bottle's so cool.
The packaging is awesome. The bottle looks really old school. I like the pictures on it and stuff.
Yeah, this is it's just nice.
What do you think, Swan?
I got a little QR code over there too.
So for me, it's just barely covering the like graininess of it, like the grains that you get in there. I get it a little bit on like the mid to the back palate, and it gets a little weird on the finish.
Yeah, that finish is weird.
Yeah, the only thing that I really just don't care for is there's companies that are doing stuff that are also 2 years old, their own distillate, and I feel like they're doing it better.
Who specifically? Like Hotel Tango?
Hotel Tango.
Yeah. That's fair. That's completely fair. I mean, they are doing it at like over half the price of this.
I think it's like $26.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I think that's a completely fair point.
Yeah.
And I mean the price is definitely the one thing about this that I have the most issue with, but I do still think that this is a quality bourbon. I'm not upset by what is in this bottle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super upset about it. It's alcohol forward. It's punchy. It's got a lot of nice kind of sweet notes to it. None of it I find like overly offensive or anything. It's just if I have to start using all those qualifiers, there's no way this should be $80.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really take problem with.
This is going to be a wildly varied review for us, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we're pretty consistent with everything, but I mean, this is going to be all over the place.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, like the price is gonna be a hard thing to get around.
the price is going to be the roughest part of this review for sure. Do we want to do this review full on before we get to the Jacob's Well? Should we go ahead and do it, do you think?
I think, and maybe at the end we can kind of talk about how they're packaged together, or you got the package together, or something like that.
Yeah, because I got this with the barreled and boxed.
Will these be sold separately, or is that the only way to get it?
Yes, they will.
Okay,
they will. Yeah. If they could only be sold together, I'd be a little bit worried. But anyway, all right. On the show, we got a system of nose, palate, finish, and price, and each category is out of 5. Final score out of 20. Swan, you're coming back for the first time in a while. What do you give the nose?
I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay.
So there's nothing like crazy sweet, nothing that's super identifying of Beam other than just that nuttiness, which is fine. But like, if I'm thinking about others too, the nuttiness of Jim Beam is a very divisive note. Not a whole lot of people are just like super on board with it. And with that being like the main thing, I mean, I like it personally, but I just can't imagine this being more than a 2 for a lot of people. And I mean, it is hot. Like you cannot figure out for the life of you where to kind of like hold your nose in the Glencairn because it just keeps jumping out and just like, oh, I'm burning the inside of my nose. I don't know. I feel like it needs to be more well-rounded, and I think that's going to come with age. I think 2's safe.
Eric?
1.5.
Wow.
Only I'm just echoing what Swan said because it took me a while to even get a little bit of that extra note in there. Like it was like both nostrils. It was just all ethanol. Like I was just smelling like nothing but alcohol. It's so hot. And 1.5 on the nose.
I gave it a 2.5. I guess I'm just picking up more on like the fruity notes. I'm tending to lean more towards just, I don't know. I'm getting past the alcohol thing on the nose, and I'm kind of diving a little bit more into it. But yeah, I do think that the alcohol is very present. That being said, I'm enjoying the nose quite a bit for what it is. I just wish that it were a little bit more well-rounded. But that being said, I mean, it is 2.5 years old. So I'm trying to kind of approach it from that particular standpoint. I gotta say though, I really liked the palate. I gave it a 3.
I'm going back in.
Yeah.
I gave it a 2.5. I got a really heavy candy corn note on it, like I said, like hot candy corn. And I'm not the biggest fan of candy corn, but I kind of like that weird note.
Yeah.
That weird candy corny, waxy thing. Like, it's kind of funky to me. And after, like, it hits you right in the front to me, or it hits me in the front like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. But after that, I didn't really get much after that. So 2.5.
I gave it a 1.5. Yeah. To me, it has like a taste and a smell that reminds me of walking into a barn full of hay.
Okay.
So what I'll say is this was his chance to show off what a young whiskey can do. I think he covered up that like ultra graininess that you get from corn and all that pretty well, but you still get elements of it in there, like the rye is a little punchy in there. The actual like corn itself has that slight dusty quality, but it's not overly sweet. I just don't. It's not coming together for me. The redeeming notes in there is just kind of like a like Eric said, a slight candy corn note. The mid and back palate is not awful, but I mean 1.5 for me.
I like it. I like it. I like it a
That's
lot.
okay, though.
I'm enjoying drinking this, and like I see this as something that I'm going to go back more to, just because I don't feel like it has, and we'll get to it, but it doesn't have quite the special qualities to it that the Jacob's Well does. So we'll get there eventually. But I look at this and I'm like, I'm not done with this yet. Like, I'm excited to have this in my collection. I am really genuinely enjoying this bourbon. Finish, I think you guys are probably about the same at like what, 1.5.
I gave it a 0.5.
Woo!
Yeah.
I gave it a 1.
Yeah, the finish is rough. Man.
I mean, it's sour. It totally, that my funky little candy corn note that I liked is gone, and it's overpowered by this just weird, like, not fun sour note to me. Like, yeah, it was like a 1 for me.
Listen, man, you got so much whiskey in this room.
I gave it a 2.
There's
okay?
There's
not
a
much,
reason there's so much, because everyone has different tastes.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it. I'm with Eric. It's sour. It's like,
I like the finish.
Yeah.
I like the finish. It reminds me of like sour candy.
Not
I don't
that
want that in a
sour.
whiskey.
This is like sour. Something's gone bad. Like, it's not like,
No, I don't get that. I don't get that
I
at
don't know,
all,
man.
Yeah.
But
I get the feeling that I've not approached this in the correct
no,
fashion.
you
or
have.
something.
Like, we've all approached it pretty much the
I
same
don't know.
way.
I don't know though. I think maybe I need to go back
That's
and
just whiskey, though.
do this
Like,
in a couple months and see what I think.
maybe
again.
it'll be. We all should. Maybe it'll be better for us too.
I will say this. It does kind of remind me of Legion.
Legion to me is much more well-rounded, and it's got a nice, very slight fruit note to it that's interesting.
A cherry,
I don't-
like that cherry
I
blossom.
don't get any of
like
this.
thing, yeah.
I don't get any of that. No,
I
this,
don't get any
this
fruit
is,
at all in this.
No.
Yeah, screw you, Perry.
No, this is seriously, like, to me, it tastes like bread that you let like ferment for too long.
Yeah.
Like it got weird.
Anyway, I gave the price a 1.5. My final score is 9 out of 20.
I gave
I
it.
give the price a 1.
I gave it a 0.5.
I'm not keeping track of your all scores, so I hope you have
5.5.
it.
I think I gave it a 5. Yeah.
Jeez. I gave it a 9 out of 20, so...
This even based on how much Perry likes it, there's no justifying the price of this.
No, I agree.
I mean, I just
the thing is,
don't get that. I don't get it at all. Like,
but I like it. I guess where I'm coming from is that I like the whiskey that's actually in the bottle. So I can justify the price a little bit more.
But what would be your perfect price for this?
No, it's got to be like $30,
Yeah, I was going to
$40,
say
something like that.
I would pay $15 to $20 for this. But
if it were just, to me, a straight up horrible bottle of bourbon, I would say there's no way that I'm buying this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is meant to be something special outside of your core range that's supposed to be an elevated or different version of what you currently have on the shelf. And the only thing I can say is it's different and I don't like it. So I just, I mean, so I don't.
It's different and you're wrong.
I just have a hard time. I couldn't recommend that to somebody at that price point or even remotely close to it. I mean, especially since you got double oaked and devil's cut and all that stuff on the shelf for like 20 to 30. You know, I mean, it would have to be around there, probably in a 375, and then I'd maybe pay $15 for a 375. Just as in like an experimental thing, just something new, different, weird. You may not like it, but if you list it as experimental, you're like, it wasn't for me, you know?
Sure.
At least then I can kind of shrug that off as maybe that was something that just wasn't really meant for me.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is going to be a product that, you know, they keep consistently on the shelves at that age, at that price, and everything. I think it was just something that they were trying to show as, you know, a reason why people should continue to be interested in Jim Beam and what their new master distiller does. You know?
Yeah, just do it with a 7-8-year-old whiskey.
Well, how about a 15 to 16-year-old?
Yeah. Well, so on the complete opposite end, this one's actually a pretty good deal. You look at like the 15-year-old product that other people put out last year.
what's the price of this one?
This one is $150.
Okay.
Also at 108 proof.
Yeah.
In 15 years, 16 years, you said?
So it is one 15-year-old high rye bourbon and one traditional 16-year-old bourbon.
That smells way better.
I really feel like you wanted us to like this, and I'm sorry that I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
I feel
it's
bad
okay.
too.
I'm not like disappointed by that. It's just I'm like uncomfortable now because I like it as much as I do, and I feel like I've done a disservice to like the listeners almost because they probably expected us to just outright hate it.
No,
you know,
Bad. Some of your listeners are probably going to like Basil Hayden. You don't like Basil Hayden. That doesn't mean
that's true.
it doesn't mean you can't talk about stuff you don't like.
Yeah, but I really do enjoy the Colonel Beam, and I mean that I'm going to finish that bottle. Like, it's not a drain pour. It's not going anywhere. Like, I'm gonna share it with people, and I
don't think anything's a drain pour, and I don't think you should feel like a disservice because, like Swan said, everybody's different. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Now the color on this one.
Oh my gosh,
It's so dark.
It is.
It is complete opposite of the Colonel Beam.
It is so viscous.
It really is. Oh, I just.
Yeah. This is it.
maybe
This is it right here.
maybe adding that.
I'm not even drank it yet. Guys, I need a moment.
That's
Perry, I'm gonna need your guest bedroom.
worth the price of admission right there. Like,
Oh, you know what, Eric? Though you forgot about your 1 ounce of news.
oh, 1 ounce of news. 1 ounce of news.
All right, that means I get an extra veto.
What?
Never mind.
Oh. Now I got 2 ounces of news next episode.
That's it right there.
Oh, it's like peanut butter on pancakes.
With maple syrup.
Yeah.
Here is my problem with this one.
Hit me with it.
I'm definitely going opposite
Listen,
of you all.
I've never talked negatively about a whiskey in my life. Go ahead.
The biggest problem that we have with this particular bourbon is that we know what this product is like at essentially a cask strength level.
Oh yeah.
At a single barrel level. We bought it for years, we loved it, and now it's just gone. And we're getting products that are not quite half, but close to half of the age of what it was originally, right?
Yeah.
And I know that there's a high rye version of this in here, but there's also what we knew and loved for so long at the core of what makes this whiskey. And it reads a lot like those old Knob Creek single barrel picks that were at 13, 14, 15 years old. But I feel like it's missing that. Like it's missing that extra something special that made those single barrels so unique and something worth like hunting for and going after. And I truly think that it's the proof. Like, I think that cutting it down to 108 proof has really kind of ruined what this whiskey could be. And you know, was I expecting the age to shine through a little bit more? A little bit, and I think that it does, but it also kind of tends to lean towards some of the brighter notes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I also, I mean, I hate to be gone for 7 months and come back and just disagree with everything you say, but like,
But you just flipped me the bird and walked away. So
yeah. No, I think for me, it's actually got on the finish this nice little smokiness.
And that's the thing.
That
like,
is completely unique, and it doesn't remind me of any of the 15-year-old product they sourced out. It doesn't remind me of anything of the Knob Creek. And I think wanting the Knob Creek back, while, I mean, yes, we all want that back.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of like looking at it like and saying, oh, you know, I really like this band's first and second album, but their third one's not for me. Like, you can always go back and you know, find some of those, albeit secondary and probably expensive or one that you're hoping to hold on to. But this is a new product, you know? I mean, I like it for the new product. And, yeah, the price point comparatively is not great. But then you look at everything. I mean, everything's dropped age statements, got older or slightly younger, more expensive. I mean, that's just the trend. But I like it. I think the fruitiness.
No,
that's so
the thing.
Different and interesting.
I'm making a lot of like caveats towards reasons to not like this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I enjoy this so much. I want this to be like the new standard for what we should strive for with really good ultra premium bourbon.
It's so strange. It gives me almost like a slight Scotch influence, like where they've got that.
It's that lower proof.
Yeah, it's just
and it comes off the still at a lower proof as well.
Yeah, and I think
much
part
like
of it,
Scotch.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, it's just like. I don't know. The fruitiness is so interesting because I'm so used to the ones at this age range getting kind of like, especially from Beam, getting really oaky, getting really heavy on certain notes that can be overpowering.
Yeah.
This one doesn't quite do that. So, I mean, it is really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't get any like real fruit notes. I get like, so on the nose, I was kind of like Perry said, it's like it reminds me of a good old Knob Creek pick on the nose. And then you get into the palate, and it's like peanut butter, like I said, pancake. But then it's like you're at like the little kid section of the restaurant, and they put like all this like sprinkles on your pancake. And like that's the bright notes I get. I get this like artificial like candy whipped cream on it. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. Like Swan said, it's like it throws you for a loop because it's so different. because you're smelling it thinking you're going to get that old beam, and then you taste it and you're like, oh, there's a little bit of that beam, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm eating whipped cream and like sprinkles, like, and I don't know, like, I like this a lot. Like, I don't know about the price, like it that much, but this was.
But if the thing we've been talking about the most with reviews recently is the Old Fitz bottle to bond decanter pricing scheme.
Yeah, 10 per year.
$10 per year. And I mean this one falls in line with that.
True.
And honestly, you're getting more bang for your buck with it because it is 15 to 16-year-old blended bourbon. But you're essentially only paying for the 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys think this would? What would happen if this was like 121 proof or something like that? Like close to that 125, 120.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying, is that at a higher proof, I think that it would show itself to be a more complex and a just kind of overall a better bourbon. And it's not to say that this is bad for what it is, but I think being the proof hounds that we are, we want something that's got a little bit more bite. We want something that's just showing up a little bit more. And in this case, it's great for what it is, but I cannot help but compare it to those 15-year-old single barrels that we got a couple years ago. And in a vacuum, this is probably like near close to a perfect score. But we're not in a vacuum, and we know what we can get value-wise at particular prices. So I'm kind of left going, yes, this is great, but what else can we do with it? At 108 proof, I just want more. I just want more from it.
I'm very happy with the proof point. I would love to get a cast strength. I did add some water to it. It held up at that lower proof as well. I probably honestly watered it down too much. Yeah. But I'm not mad at it. I think it's good. I think it's a very complete whiskey, which I appreciate.
I agree.
I think it's just the curiosity.
It's well crafted.
Because I think a lot of times you get that it's so good, you're like, how much better could it be at 120s or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Like, this shows off their ability to blend, I think, better than the other one, just because, I mean, taking a 15-year-old whiskey and not having those overpowering oak notes is honestly extremely impressive, way more impressive than, the caveat we often give younger whiskey. Oh, it doesn't taste like it's X years old.
Yeah.
So I think that's really nice, because there's not a whole lot that I can really say that with. I mean, even the 15-year-old's like whiskey drummer, it's oaky. I just love the oak. And then with this, it does drink slightly. I think it's, again, the proof. It doesn't drink as oaky. And it's got some fruit sweetness in there. It's got some dates in there. I mean, it's still has that classic like nuttiness, but it's not overpowering. The oak's there, and then that slight smoke on the finish is. I mean, to me, that's like, it's something I didn't know that I wanted as a bourbon drinker.
Sure,
and it's coming through. So I really appreciate this whiskey.
Yeah, I do too. It's just the more time that I spend with it, the more I keep thinking, but what if? So but that's my own personal bias.
Yeah,
taking it at face value and thinking about what this is, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a very well crafted bourbon. Mm-hmm. I think, but so. Nose palate finish price. Eric, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I went a 3.5. I think it's slightly better than a lot of the stuff as far as like Knob Creek picks go. It's kind of right on the line of the good ones, but it's got this little bit of like peanut butter pancake that I like.
Yeah.
So I went 3.5 on that one.
I gave it a 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I really like this whiskey. No, it's pretty much everything that I would want out of it. I agree that the 0.5 point is probably just the proof. I want it to be a little more. I mean, anytime you can get it at cask strength, it's going to be phenomenal. But I think that's the only thing holding it back. And who knows? I mean, if we were able to try this at cask strength, I might be like, oh, that's too much. Cut it down. It's not refined enough, you know. But I'm reserving that 0.5 point for the what if factor.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with a 4.
Yeah.
Palate. I think that it really does drink like an LE slightly higher value product.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to give it a 4 again. I really enjoy this. I really, really enjoy drinking this bourbon.
I'm giving it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go.
I'm giving it a 5.
Damn!
Wow!
Yeah.
Holy moly!
I think this is one of the best things I've had this year, palate wise.
Oh my gosh!
Nice.
Yeah, because it's
Do you want to take this home with you?
yes. No, seriously, it is phenomenal. I mean, for me as a person that drinks now Scotch, Irish, and bourbon and rye, and then basically anything I can get my hands on American whiskey wise, it's got so many elements from some of those things that I really like pulled into it. But I could see somebody that was just a straight up bourbon drinker, maybe not enjoying this as much as a classic flavor. You know, like if you're comparing it to the Knob Creek profile, this is much further away from your classic profile. Yeah. I think it is phenomenal. And honestly, I mean, the blend, he's just showing off. That's to me that's what this is. Yeah, the first one was like, I'm going to try to impress some people, and then the second one is like, I know what I'm doing. Shut up, sit down, drink the stuff. Like that's how it's reading to me.
Nice.
All right.
I gave it a 4. I like this a lot. It reminds me of a Knob Creek finished in whipped cream and sprinkles. Maybe it's a little too sweet for some people that maybe want that like bold like rye spice and stuff, but man, I love it. Like this is like freaking like a sweet tooth bomb on the palate to me.
There you go. I gave him a 2-ounce sample.
Damn, there we go.
No, I'll be tracking one of these down.
Finished though. Not my favorite part of this, but I do still think that it is enticing me to go back. I gave it a 3.5.
Gotcha. My favorite part of it.
5 out of 5.
Even though you gave the palate a 5.
It's also a 5.
Oh my gosh, dude.
No, seriously, this is like it. I think what it is like if you're really into Jim Beam as like a classic profile, you may not love this one, but again, as like somebody that enjoys some stuff out of Scotch, this stuff is phenomenal. It's a 5 for me. The slight smokiness you get on the end is just amazing.
Yeah.
I like it.
I gave it a 3.5. I think it's a great finish, but like I'm not, like Swan said, I'm not a big fan of the smoke, and I lose a lot of that sweet tooth on the finish. So if you like sweet, you may not like the finish as much. If you're like Swan and you like the smokiness and stuff, then this is your shit right here, because it is smoky, and believe me, like, yeah, you're either going to love it, I think, or you're just going to be like, But 3.5.
It's not even like a peat smoke. It's like almost like a hickory smoke.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know.
Wow.
Man, I'm on extremes today.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Give it a 5 or a 20 or nothing.
All right, so $150 a bottle. It's a bite, but I don't think that it's inappropriate for what this product is. that's a 4 for me.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4.5. I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously better than you, but also I mean, for me, like what you're getting is it's phenomenal. Stats wise, even just looking at it, it's a good deal.
Eric?
3.5. I mean, it is what it is. I was thinking, like Perry said, the 10 per year, and I feel like that's right in the middle, and I feel like I got a little bit more for my buck, so I gave it a 3.5. So
That puts me in a 19.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's one of the highest I've ever reviewed.
I think that might be the highest.
Yeah.
you've
fans
ever
of
given.
Swan are like, give me that fucking bourbon right now.
No, I could see some people that enjoy anything peated or
Yeah.
anything like that really, really digging this whiskey. Outside of that, I think it could be something maybe you just don't feel like spending the money on. I totally get it.
I think I gave it a 15.5.
I was a 14.5. So that's a recommend from all of us. Basically,
no, it's absolutely a recommend.
it's a buy the distillery from Swan.
Actually, I would not recommend it. Leave them all.
Send
Don't
them
buy
all to
one.
Swan.
I would even still recommend getting the Colonel Beam, but I mean that's just me, and I think that there is room for it on people's shelves and whatnot. But yeah, this is definitely the one that you should pick up.
I feel
over.
like if they're gonna make a 2-pack, they should have given you this one and then gave you like a 200 ml or something of that one to just have fun with and compare what a older beam product is compared to a younger beam, and like almost threw it in as like something with this. Maybe if this one's 150, you could have that 2-pack for 180, so you got that little 2-year to go with it or something like that. I would be down for that.
I want like an advent calendar going from like 1 to 15. I think
I would love that.
that would be fun.
Yeah. You know what else is fun though?
What?
Tips and bits.
Yeah.
Our recommendation part of the show. What do you guys have to recommend to the listeners right now?
How did I forget that we were like doing this section?
The thing, you did this for like 2 years. And now you're just like, I don't know.
I couldn't even remember what I had for breakfast. What are you doing to me here?
Swan's like,
should
I
I
recommend
start?
this 15 to 6-year-old Jim Beam product. That's
Yeah.
his tips
Yeah,
and
for
bits.
real.
Should I start then?
Yeah, go for it.
So, 2 things. I have really, really been enjoying the new Ms. Marvel series on Disney Plus. As of recording, the 2nd episode just came out. It's just fun. It's just fun Marvel superhero stuff that I know that it gets really serious a lot of times, but I don't feel like overly anxious or pressured or anything when I'm watching it, and I don't know. Eric and I talked about it not too long ago, and we kind of were not really sure how we felt about it.
I think
but
with episode 2, like it's kind of doing what I said. Like, yeah, it was kind of cute and fun at the beginning. I don't know if I was ready for that, but I was like, I think it may get better, or I want it to get progress. And after episode 2, like it just it feels like it's going up a hill. Like we're just progressing as we go.
I also have to recommend Mission hats.
Okay.
Which is what I'm wearing right now, I'm holding in front of myself. This was a Father's Day present from Lucy, and it's got some weird like cooling agent in the hat, so you just soak it in water for like a couple seconds and then wring it out, and it keeps you cool.
That sounds like great for hiking and stuff.
It's so good, man. It's really, really good. I like want to see if they can actually sponsor the podcast for a week.
Heck yeah. I love hats. I have no hair, so I love
You've
hats.
got a lot of hair right now.
It's growing back. My spray that's not just good for your junk is actually working great on my head. So I cannot wait for like 2 more months to see if my hair grows back even better. So
It's going to be weird if you come in with like just luscious hair just flowing behind
I don't know
you.
if I ever get like
It's
that.
not weird. We're here for it, man. You do it.
I just
do
don't
it.
want to. I just don't want to be bald.
I like you with the shaved head though.
No, but there's like 1,000 other dudes that are shaved head, beard, backwards hat
Yeah, but
guy.
you're my shaved head beard with a hat dude.
Now that you say it like that, I gotta get a tattoo on my head. Robert
What is all right, what does April prefer?
You know what's funny? Getting into my life right now, it was always like, you know what? I really like the shaved head. And then when I started growing my hair back, she was like, oh, I really like being able to put my hand through your hair there. And so I'm like, well, what do you want? What do you want?
I know. I get that.
So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry. Anyway, hats, your thing.
No. Yeah. Anyway, that particular hat was my thing. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Yeah, you go for it, man.
Swan's still not sure what he's going to actually recommend.
So, me and the boys went and watched Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear movie, which I highly recommend. I got an email and it was like, do you want to go watch Buzz Lightyear a day early? And I was like, you know what? I got 2 boys who are driving me crazy. And yes, I do. So the Buzz Lightyear movie is... So it's not like the toy Buzz. It's based on the movie that they made the action figure from.
Yeah,
So,
no. It's the movie that Andy saw
yeah, and they made the action figure from it. Like,
based on, in that universe,
yes.
the actual Buzz Lightyear.
It's not like... That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what it is. It though?
It says in 1995, Andy watched this movie. This was Andy's favorite movie. Right. And then they made an action figure based on that movie. And that's
Right,
the Buzz
but-
Lightyear action figure.
But that movie was based on a person within the Toy Story universe who was named Buzz Lightyear.
No, I feel like it's like we have Avengers movies and they make toys based on the Avengers movies and our kids play with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, late breaking news. Jackie Zykan is leaving Old Forester.
Oh, shit.
Wow. She got anything else lined up or just...
Old Forester Master Taster Jackie Zykan is stepping away. Press release just issued stated she is off to pursue other career opportunities. So
Yeah.
she might not even be within the bourbon world anymore. That's crazy. Anyway,
I
sorry.
don't blame her.
Okay. I don't know how to follow up that breaking news.
Sorry.
Other
Sorry. It just hit and I had to bring it up.
Other than if you like Toy Story, and I'm confused about.
I love Toy Story.
Yes, I'm confused about if it was based in my head, it was a movie within the Toy Story universe, and that's why they made Buzz. Am I wrong?
No. But I think that there is also like another level that
No, but you could be more correct.
you could be. But I think that the character of Buzz Lightyear is supposed to be based on a real world astronaut in Toy Story.
Yeah, but okay. But the movie I watched has nothing to do with the real world stuff. Like there's
No, real
aliens
world
and robots
within
and
Toy
stuff.
Story.
Okay, well they don't talk about that in the movie.
Okay.
So this is a movie that's like a mix of aliens
Andy
and
saw this movie.
Andy saw this movie, then they made an action figure and he bought the action figure he got the action figure for his birthday.
Yes.
Because he didn't have Buzz until the movie already came out.
Yes.
Anyway.
What are you confused on?
I'm so confused. But it's like Aliens and Star Wars and like Prometheus. I know that's part of the Alien universe. All that mixed together in a movie that's not a kid movie, but it's not an adult movie. And it's fun. And it's a highly recommend for me, especially if you like Toy Story, because they do a lot of like, yeah, they have the old school suit, and then he has a different suit, and then he gets it back,
yeah,
and he's doing a lot of like the talking to his, his captain's log and his lasers and all that stuff. So, kids, adults, watch the Lightyear movie. I don't know. I'm confused about where it comes from now. Perry's making me rethink everything that I thought about before I did this recommendation. So
rightfully so.
Yes.
Anyway, Swan.
So my Xbox died. This is going somewhere, I promise. It completely just ate it.
Let your consoles crap out.
Yeah. So I had one of like the old ones. So it was like when it first came out, the previous Xbox release. So I walked into GameStop and they had one of the new ones, and so I bought it, the one that looks like a brick that's not been laid with other bricks,
like a
Series X.
Looks like a little mini fridge.
Sure. Yeah, little mini fridge. That thing is amazing. First off, but really I got a free game when I bought it because it was part of some bundle. So I picked up. I was like, I haven't played Skyrim in forever. I went back and played that game. It is amazing. So I've kind of been on this like tear of all Bethesda games recently.
Okay, yeah.
And it is just so nice and relaxing. Like the I forget how much the boss fights don't like make me anxious. Like, you know how some games like you'll get into it and you're just like, oh my god,
I can't do this.
Yeah, it's like beforehand. It's like I need to go get food before I even think about taking care of this
Elden
boss.
Ring for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so like just kind of looking at that, a lot of the recent games that have come out, it's been nice to go back and play it at like a slightly different, the frame rate's better, that this and that, that all those things are better. And so I got to go back and play it. Really been enjoying it. It's nice because I can also have a few pours and still like function in the world of Skyrim. So it's like it's a good video game pairing, I guess. For Clifton.
I like that.
For having a couple of pours and not
Bourbon
getting to the point where you're just like, I listen, I understand everything that's going on, but I physically cannot get my hands to make what I need to happen here,
Right.
And so it's been fun, like once a week I've just been, I'm going to try these 5-6 samples that somebody's given me, a couple ounces here and there, and over like 4 hours just play games. So I've been really enjoying that.
I will also, I guess, recommend, despite all of the not backlash, deserved criticism that he has gotten over the past 7 or 8 months, Gus Johnson has a really good song on his YouTube channel called I Want to Live in a Skyrim House. It's really, really good.
I like that.
I might even have to play it before we get out of here, put it as some of the outro music. But is that it?
Yeah, no, I've really been enjoying that, to be honest.
So there we go.
Nice.
That's another week of Timbip. Oh my gosh,
Timbip.
it's with 3 boys.
We them boys.
Not the distillery, but no, we're not them boys.
Not them boys.
Not them boys. We us boys.
Us boys.
Us boys.
These
Oh.
boys.
Us boys. That's
I
our
like it.
boy band. Us boys.
Us boys. There's 3 of us.
Yeah, screw the news boys. We're the us boys.
Folks, just thank you so much for listening. Eric, I know that you normally take us home, so I'm going to let you go ahead and do just that.
Unless
please.
Swan wants to.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, take us home, Eric.
If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And at $5, you get all the uncut stuff, all the pregame chats and the Porch from the Floor, Sample Irresistible, just all the stuff that you don't hear on this episode. And then if you want to send us a sample or a suggestion for a review or a pairing, send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. And then you can check out all the merchandise on bourbonshop.threadless.com or at whiskeymutant.shopify.com. If you want to leave a message for us on the Barrel Ring segment, 859-428-8253. We'll play your voicemail and then we'll reply to you. And then on all social media, it's at MyBourbonPod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me at Whiskey Mutant. You can follow Swan at SwanTBF. And then you can go to YouTube and search This Is My Bourbon Podcast. Perry goes live every Thursday night at 8. I try to join him. I guess this is not coming out at that time, but I'll be on with him
But
tonight.
by this point, it'll have been a couple
So you
weeks
can go
ago.
back and look, and I'll be on with him. And then you can leave a 5-star review or rating on Apple Podcast or Spotify. We really need some reviews because I like to read them, and even if they're good or bad, it's fun. And then just tell everybody about us. Tell your friend, tell your neighbor, whoever.
Please.
Just tell them.
We do have a couple of Patreon notices that we need to bring up as well. No new patrons, but I will say that we did have some patrons up their pledges
Getting
this
up.
week. Hate that. First of all, Mr. Matt Abood
Matt Abood.
jumped up to the $5 a month tier.
Dude's got some
Matt,
hops.
thank you so much for doing
Saw him
that.
playing basketball the other day.
Did you?
Yeah. Dude's got hops. No wonder he jumped up. Dude was balling.
What kind of hops?
I mean, I'm not talking about IPAs. I'm talking about Nikes. Dude's got hops. Like 7-inch vertical.
Wow.
Yeah. Balling.
That's,
He's a baller.
yeah.
Shot
Sounds
caller.
like it. Okay.
Wish he was a little bit taller.
You can stop talking now. And our buddy Darren Wright just upped his pledge to the $20 tier as well.
Darren.
Yeah. Darren. Thank you.
Darren's
Matt.
fine.
Thank you.
Darren's fine.
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 F-O-Y-N-E.
Dude's rolling around Louisville. He's a baller, too. Just going all out.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that does it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, next week, we are like 3 weeks ahead of recording schedule at this point, so we're not entirely sure what's going to happen. We're losing our minds. We're not entirely sure what's going to be happening next week, but we're definitely going to be recording on or around Independence Day.
Yeah, it's Independence Day.
I'm trying to think if I can make it down for that.
You should. You should go. You should go make it down for it.
I do have a mic at home now. I could do this. What Eric's doing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Anyway, you may as well just be a part of the show again.
Might as well.
Might as well.
May as well. Anyway, that does it for this week. We'll see you guys real soon. But until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Swan.
I'm Eric.
It just made me real happy. And this is my Bourbon Podcast.
Because we didn't go, oh, wait, we said it at the same time.
No, I don't know. It's nice to hear
It's
it
one
all
big
together
family.
again. Yeah. Anyway, bye, everybody.
See ya.